you think of these high-tech companies and people still have the mentality, you need a 4-year degree, you need a 6-year degree. Kevin and I, we got a 0-year degree. I did later on in life, just to challenge myself, but it wasn't because I needed it. Beauty school was my career. Beauty industry was my career, and helped us get to where we were going. I remember, like you talked about in high school, they did have shop, but I never knew it was for the kids. No wonder they kept pushing me to those shop classes and woodworking, but I wasn't good with that either.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had a gift in hair till I was out of high school, and, college wasn't. And my brother went on, he was very smart. He went on to be a doctor. He got his medical degree, but he's 65, 66. He just paid off his student loans.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's not in the medical field. Actually, he was a pathologist. A forensic pathologist, but I told him he had a dead-end job. But he looked at my career job, our career jobs, and he's like, my goodness, you went to a trade school, and yet you're traveling the country, you're living this wonderful life, you're having these great, ventures, and you're making money. More than I am. He's like, so he left the medical field to get involved with the trade schools because he also has a passion for teaching.
Right.
But you take a look at two guys or anybody out there in the beauty industry, they come out of school. Yes, maybe they weren't the smartest in their class, but they were the most talented and gifted. And these AI companies also, too, let's go on beyond the beauty schools. They need these big tech companies built. Who's going to build them? A 4-year, 6-year degree? No, it's your tradesmen and tradeswomen that are going to go out there and build that building for you.
Well, we talk about that all the time. If you look at the power needs for these data centers, let alone the construction needs, the infrastructure to get there, to build the facility, and then to work in the facility once it's up and running, but the power generation that is required. Who's going to do that? Where are we going to get the electricians? Where are we going to get the plumbers and the pipe fitters and the welders and the HVACs? Where are those folks going to come from?
Who's going to run the plumbing for the bathroom?
They're going to come from trade schools.
Yeah.
And it's estimated at any given time, there are hundreds of thousands of vacancies that exist across all of those professions that I mentioned in the aggregate. And it's trade schools that produce those workers. And that's where the opportunity is. And you're not going to be displaced by AI, at least in the short term. We don't know what the future is going to look like. But for right now, the safer option, the option where there's the most opportunity to find a job and do well in your career. And we talk to folks. I visited over 200 career schools, and we have the employers come in and they can't find enough workers. They just cannot find enough skilled workers to fill these jobs because of this boom that's happening with distribution warehouses and data centers and the chip manufacturers, all of these things that are happening in the country and the infrastructure investment that's been made. Those are our workers from trade schools that are going to do those jobs.
Yeah, I know. We get bombarded with calls all the time blaming us like, why aren't you giving us hairdressers? We're trying to get them in.
Right.
and our goal is not to keep them because they have to leave.
Yeah.
They have to go out and get a career. So it's not that we're holding them back. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I want a computer cut my hair, even if it's possible for AI to do that, because you lose that human touch. You lose that human contact, that interaction. But eventually, maybe somewhere down in the future, they'll be laying the pipes. But I don't think they'll be doing that or carpentry for a very, very long time. But who knows? Yeah. The strangest things have happened. But especially, through my years where we went from looking for a payphone to having our own cellular phone, that's a computer. But what parents need to understand is not just the governmental and everything, but if your child is interested in a trade, don't knock it. There's great values to a trade.
Right.
And that's why you got involved with more of the trade sector. and keeping them going and alive. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I've been in my current role for more than 5 years now, and we are the national association that represents private post-secondary trade schools and career colleges. And the name of the association is Career Education Colleges and Universities. So the acronym CECU is CQ. So if you hear CQ, that's who we are. But we're the national association that represents trade schools and career colleges. And it's all the things that we're talking about. It's the beauty and wellness sector, which includes not only cosmetology, but massage therapy, estheticians, nails, things like that. Truck driving, all the skilled trades, HVAC, I mentioned them earlier, in addition to aviation technicians, auto techs. And I use the example all the time with those folks. You want to talk about the value of trade schools. When you're sitting on an airplane and you're looking at those men and women outside the airplane working on it, you want two things. You want them to be really good at what they do, and you want there to be a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's what our schools do. We produce those workers in the same way we're producing welders. We have a school in Seattle and a school in Houston that does underwater construction, underwater welding. And
Bridges.
They, like in Seattle, they go out into Puget Sound, and they have a platform out there, and they go underneath. Yeah, they build bridges and windmills and cell towers and offshore stuff. And you see the work that goes into that, and you think about AI displacement. They're going to be safe for quite a while.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
And then we have the healthcare programs. So you think about nursing, all levels of nursing, medical assisting, the allied health, sonography, phlebotomy, business programs. And then we have some niche schools. For example, there's a ranching school. There's a school that does horseshoes in Lexington, Kentucky. That's a viable
horse
career
capital
path
there.
in Kentucky. So there really are some regional. That we have some schools now that are getting into commercial drone applications.
Oh wow.
That's becoming a career path for people. So staying on top of technology changes, knowing the future of the workforce, and having those partnerships with employers so they can work with you on curriculums and knowing what the future is going to hold, because you don't want to train people for jobs that were here 5 years ago. You want to train them for jobs that are going to be here 5 years from now, and that's what trade schools do.
Yeah, because things are changing quite a bit, and you're right. A lot of people, when they go to college, a lot that come out of college that I know never even go in the field they went to college for.
Right.
And they're still searching for what they want to do. And a lot of them have gone from college to trade schools because there is more of a need for, like you said, AI can now dictate a conversation.
Yeah.
So, do we need secretaries, as they called them back then? I don't know what they call them today, because they don't exist. It's AI. There's a commercial I just saw on TV the other day. It was like, hey, Jason, take the day off. Oh, I can't. I got this report. Don't worry. He presses button. AI will take care of that. Hey, Kevin, come play with. So I got this. Don't worry. AI will take care of it. So what they're really promoting is everybody out of a job. And what are these people going to do? Well, why don't you do what is needed out there? Such like when I go to the hospital, I can't find a nurse. And one nurse is taking care of 10, 15 rooms.
Yeah.
And then they're just finding whomever to stick you with the needle to get some blood. And try to call a plumber. There's not many available. They still need a lot of plumbers out there. And when I do get one, just for them to come and say hello to me is $300. That's just to say hello. Yeah. And I'm like, God bless you.
There's a great story about plumbers that a plumber goes to a doctor's house because he's got a plumbing issue, and he fixes it, and he's there for an hour, and he gives him his bill. He says, okay, well, that'll be $500. And the doctor said, I don't charge $500 an hour in what I do. And he said, yeah, I didn't charge $500 an hour when I was a doctor either.
I love it.
But
I'm going to have to tell my brother that one.
It just goes to show that when you need these folks, regardless of what you are doing in your own life, you're going to need them, and you're going to pay any price to get them. And you want people who know how to do the job and are going to do it well. And that's what trade schools do.